All right, this video is based on the need from the workshop that we had with small business owners. So we have realized that some small business owners are running spaza shops, especially the South Africans, because all the clients that we have in our database are South Africans. But that's not mean that we exclude people from other countries, but currently we are servicing South Africans only. So we were presenting in that workshop the funding which is offered by the Eastern Cape Development Corporation, ECDC, and the one that is offered by CFA and SEDA, now called SEDFA. So we were presenting that funding because, for instance, on the 18th of this month, last week, Minister Sᴘᴜᴘ, the Minister of Small Business Development, was handing over as part of the handovers that were made regarding the funding that was given to the entrepreneurs in the OR Tambo District Municipality under KSD local municipality. So we were part of that program, and we saw that the biggest funded small business was given plus 3 million rands. I remember making a post on my Facebook account about that one. I think the lowest funding that was given was plus minus 100,000 rand. For that one was given by SEDFA, but for our co-op we were funded by ECDC. So the small businesses the small business owners that are running spaza shops, they also qualify to get a funding of, dominantly, many people are funded in an amount that goes from, up to 100,000 rand. So, but it can go as high as 300,000 rands for spaza shops, but it's divided into the stock, into the business training, into compliance, and so on, because they don't want to give you money if you don't have business skills. You need to prove that. So, for instance, today there was a Spaza Shop Support Fund outreach program, which was held in Polokwane at the Capricorn district. So this outreach program goes to different places in different provinces of South Africa. The aim of this outreach program is that these if their events are designed to help spaza shop owners understand the fund and prepare their documents and also receive assistance with applications. Remember, some spaza shop owners might not understand how to get the permit from the municipality, what do you need, and why is my funding application delaying. So these events are designed to help these owners to actually get their documentation to go faster, so that they can be their applications can be approved in no time. So let's get down to the presentation so that we see what this funding means. So if you are running a spaza shop, you have to watch the entirety of this video. So what is the Spaza Shop Support Fund? The Spaza Shop Support Fund is a South African government initiative established by the Department of Small Business Development. That is your DSBD. The minister there is Minister Sᴘᴜᴘ. And the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, I think the minister there is Pakstow. And it is implemented by SEDFA, the Small Enterprise Development Finance Agency, and the National Empowerment Fund. So they take all these government agencies to actually support this initiative for spaza shops. I think the aim is also a bit political, because spaza shops now are dominantly run by the foreign nationals, And now South Africans are unemployed, some South Africans are unemployed, and they are not part of that kind of business. So now the government is being put under pressure to say, why don't you support South Africans to actually run these spaza shops? So the purpose is to strengthen the South African-owned township and rural spaza shops through financial and business support. Remember, they also give you some training as part of this. So what support can a business receive if you actually qualify to get to apply for the Spaza Shop Support Fund? So qualifying businesses may receive funding to purchase the stock. I think that's up to 80,000 rands, if I'm not mistaken. But we're going to break down this in the next slide. And then the other portion can go to the business support, and the other portion can go to the equipment. I think 50,000 rands. Yes, I'm getting the numbers right. 50,000 rands for the stock. And then the other portion, which is 40,000 rands, is for the equipment. And then the 10,000 rands is for the business support, like if you need compliance or you need some training and stuff. So the funding is to purchase the stock. And number two, you can use it for renovations and upgrades in your spaza shop. And partly you can use, that's point number three, for shelving, refrigeration, security improvements, and the equipment. Then part of it again can also be used as part of the point of sale systems. And another one can be used for business management training. So financial management and bookkeeping training, and also you need to be trained on digital literacy. Compliance is the key. So you need to comply with the municipality standards. You need to comply with the business registration requirements. If you are registered under CIPC, you need to make sure that your returns are up to date. And then you also need to get some mentorship if you have never done any business-related course. So that's what you need. So how much funding is available? The support depends on the amount required. And the funding is up to 100,000 rands. That's the dominant part of the funding, but it can go as high as 300,000 rands, as you will see. So the funding is, okay, 40,000 rands of the funding is for the stock grant. That's what I was trying to break down in the previous slide. So I think here it becomes more clearer. So then 50,000 rands is for the infrastructure, and then 10,000 rands is supposed to be used for business development and training support. So if you need training on digital skills, you need training on financial literacy because you need to manage money, you need to also run your business using the latest technologies. So for instance, the point of purchase systems, you need to understand which one you need to buy, and you need to buy the one that will make your compliance easy. And also you need to track your money in terms of the financial management side of things. So the funding is, if you go for above 100,000 rand, you can go as high as 300,000 rand. On combination that there will be a grant funding and there will be a loan that is interest free. So that is only given if they can have a track record that you are running a successful spaza shop. But for the first time applicants, you can aim as high as 100,000 rands. So the continued business development support and the mentoring. So again, from that 300,000 rands, you can also get some part to go for your training. So let's go to the next slide. Who qualifies? Generally, the applicants should be 100% South Africans. So the spaza shop must be owned by a South African. And it must also be actively managed by that South African. It must operate in a township or rural area. Should not be in the CBD. So again, it should have the municipal registration, or you should get a permit if you don't have a registered business. So again, you need to register with SARS. Even when you are not registered with CIPC, if you run as a solo trading business, you need your own personal CSD. So for instance, your personal CSD is where they reflect your compliance with SARS, your compliance with the bank, and your compliance with the other areas of the business environment. So all of that is reflected in the so-called CSD, the Central Supplier Database. So again, the complete registration within the allowed transition period. So you need to comply with the municipal health, food safety, and other legal requirements. Remember, in these days, we have a lot of products that are sold by spaza shops, which are claimed to have expired dates, and some spaza shop owners are being accused of finding a way to extend those dates. So you need to comply with the municipal health and food safety standards, as well as the other legal requirements, because you're supplying food and it's a sensitive thing, it's a sensitive business, because if somebody eats something from your spaza shop and maybe they get sick or they die, and that can land you into some legal implications. So you need to register with CIPC if you're applying for a larger funding of the amount. But generally, if the amount is above 80,000. So anything below 80,000 rands, you can run it as a sole trading business. But even if you run as a sole trading business, you will need a trading permit. Trading permit is usually issued for sole trading businesses. That is where you are not registered, but you are running as an individual. But again, you will need CSD. CSD will reflect if you comply with SARS and if you comply with the other legal requirements, such as the banking requirements. So you need not to owe the bank monies that, or in such a way that you have run away or you are no longer paying the bank. You need to have an account that is up to date. Yes, if you have an account that is being handed over to the debt collectors, you can still qualify, but you will need to show that you have an arrangement with the debt collectors that you are paying that amount. You need to have a proof. So let's move on to the next. I think this was the last part of the video in this case. So if you need more information, you will need to actually make a comment and maybe let me know what you need. And in that regard, I will actually answer that, even if I take maybe a day or so, but I will eventually answer you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you will subscribe to this video. I'll share some links on the comment section so that you can get to learn more and more about this type of funding. Thank you so much.